Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We are here on a beautiful summer day in Harrison Meadows Park. Today we're going to take a look at the Harrison Meadows neighborhood as well as the Northern Meadows neighborhood, which both border each other and both touch the park here. So stick around and let's dive in and see what we can find. As you can see here, Harrison Meadows is just south of Lake Lansing Road below the Tamarisk neighborhood. The neighborhood's boundaries are Cricket Lane and North Harrison Road, with all the houses being built off of Cricket Lane. Harrison Meadows Park is the white area between Harrison Meadows and Northern Meadows on the map here. The Northern Meadows neighborhood, on the other hand, is south of Harrison Meadows. You can see the neighborhood here highlighted in the color yellow. Northern Meadows is bounded by Harrison Road, Gainsborough Drive, Bessemer Drive, Abbott Road, Laurie Drive, and Woodingham Drive. The neighborhood also includes the streets Columbine, Colorado, Rosewood, Bainbridge, Roxburgh, and Glenhaven. So beginning the tour here at the park that connects neighborhoods, we see it was donated through the Arnold family, through a generous donation and in remembrance of Mary Arnold. The park here is one of the main destinations that the Northern Tier Trail connects to, if you watch the Tamarisk video, which makes it accessible to people from a few different neighborhoods in the surrounding area. As we can see here, we have a play gym and a sandbox, one of the more integral requirements to any good park. And just on the other side, we have a swing set, another classic, and a great little picnic table under some cover, so whether if you're trying to avoid the sun, the rain, the snow, great place to sit down and have something to eat, or perhaps a conversation without the elements getting to you. And as I'm sure you've noticed, everything is just so green. There is grass all over, and it's well manicured, taken care of, and there's also a wide variety of beautiful trees and bushes kind of spread throughout the park. And right past the playground, I noticed this little grass trail kind of cutting around the corner here, and as we make our way back here, you'll actually see that the park offers a giant lush green field, perfect for soccer, picnics, maybe a game of horseshoes or bocce ball. Plenty of space for all types of activities, and definitely enough room for dozens, if not more, of families to be back here taking advantage of it all at once. This parking lot was directly behind me when I started the video. It's a great little parking circle, so people that live a little bit further can still come visit, check it out without having to make the long walk. And we got a basketball court, fully paved full court, off to the side. And following this trail that's beside the basketball court is going to lead us directly to the Harrison Meadows neighborhood. So the neighborhood is directly connected to the park, which is definitely a giant benefit. And as we continue towards the neighborhood, I stopped and took a look at this tree on the right here. I wasn't quite sure what it was. It had pretty broad leaves, so if you do know, maybe let me know in the comments, because I was interested trying to figure out what it was. So unlike most of the other neighborhoods in this part of East Lansing, the Harrison Meadows neighborhood is actually quite new, with construction starting around 1999 and lasting until about 2002. So these are newer, kind of custom, semi-custom homes. You'll get an idea of what I'm talking about when we get to the neighborhood. There's a variety of all different types of architectural styles, not really one cookie cutter constant theme throughout, but rather a lot more custom in size, style, and scope. And as we approach Cricket Lane, there's this fantastic house on the right here. Beautiful landscaping, flowers, a little trail lined with stones. Definitely gives you a little sneak peek of what's to come. And just like we saw in the Tamarisk neighborhood video, we still have trail markers along the trail here. Thought that was pretty neat. And just past this, we have a trail sign breaking down exactly how far everything is. And we had this really cool post. It has a message written in several different languages. I can see Chinese, Russian, many of these I don't know, Spanish, and I thought that was pretty neat, and obviously I was curious as to what it said. So I went ahead and pulled out Google Translate on my phone and took a picture for you guys. And as you can see, they're all just general messages about peace being upon mankind and humanity, which is a message I think we can all get behind. And as we turn back to the neighborhood, we're greeted by this amazing house. As I mentioned, most of the houses here have more of a custom or semi-custom feel to them. Lots of variety in the neighborhood. If you're curious about the values of the houses here, they're generally between the mid 400,000s and upper 500,000s, varying depending on size, style, square footage, all the usual. And as you can see here, we have the crossroad signs for Cricket Lane and Harrison Road that make up the boundaries, as well as the Harrison Meadows sign to the entrance of the community. And as I turned to go back into the neighborhood, these little ice cream cones caught my eye. Something cool and creative. And another interesting tidbit, Harrison Meadows does have a neighborhood association, not an HOA. So no mandatory dues, but the association does work to help keep residents informed and focuses on improving neighborhood safety and appearance and protecting the natural areas around the neighborhood, which are all quite important things and do help you maintain your home value. As we get to the end of the street here, you'll see there's this interesting little island in the middle of the road, and quite a large tree growing out of it. That caught my eye. Pretty cool. Wonder if they do anything for Christmas with the tree. This is what came to mind immediately to me. And then as we journey back towards the trail to get back to Harrison Meadows Park, we see some more phenomenal landscaping and beautiful houses. And back at the parking lot where we started, if we follow the road in, it will take us to our next neighborhood. So as we enter the Northern Meadows neighborhood, you'll notice it's not quite as extravagant as Harrison Meadows, but still has a lot of charm. The houses are definitely a little bit older. You'll find mostly ranch styles, traditional two-story homes, split levels, and a few larger homes. And most of the construction here ranges from between the 50s and 60s, with a few that were built a bit later, which means that the neighborhood has had quite a while to evolve. You'll find kind of these sprawling back and front yards, a lot of them unfenced throughout the neighborhood. Here you can even see, it looks like maybe a beekeeper. There's some hives back there in those boxes, but just beautiful, wide spaces. And you'll still notice a lot of the kind of more modern rock siding and beautiful retouched brick siding on a lot of these houses that I felt was quite similar to what we saw in Harrison Meadows. And here was a kind of open public green space. I'm not sure if it was a lot that never sold or if it was kind of dedicated to be an open park. I didn't see any signage, but there's this great trail leading from one side of the neighborhood to the other through this green open space. Once again, we have another open backyard, not fenced in, kind of really feels kind of continuous throughout the neighborhood. You know, it feels very communal, which is great if you're into that kind of thing. And personally, I do love this shade of blue on the house on the left here. Looks fantastic. Homes in the area have been going for the upper 200,000s up to around the $400,000 mark. So the average is going to be somewhere kind of more between 300 and 400,000. However, if that seems out of your price range, not to worry. There's a condominium complex here within the neighborhood called Hickory Hill. And as you can see, we have one of the parking areas here with some garages. You can see some of the condominiums behind. They're that more kind of apartment style rather than townhouse style from what I could gather. But looks like a pretty nice place to live, and they have quite a few units. It kind of wraps around. We'll see the sign here a little bit later in the front of the complex. The neighborhood does not have an HOA, but it does have a homeowners association, which focuses on things like responsible development, preserving the residential character of the neighborhood, protecting natural areas and wetlands, and addressing civic and educational issues. So if you've seen some of my other East Lansing neighborhood tours, you'll know that this is pretty standard. A lot of these neighborhoods do have these associations, but they are not HOAs. They are not usually requiring any type of monthly payment or anything like that. And now we are approaching the Hickory Hill condominium sign. I did notice it's a little bit overgrown, so probably need to take down those bushes a little bit. So while doing my research, I was able to find that the neighborhood is pretty active. Seems that the neighbors like to come together, do things like summer picnics, throw block parties, and other types of events. So if you want to live somewhere where there's larger scale neighborhood events going on, this may just be the neighborhood for you if you're looking at East Lansing. And one thing I did notice as I got further into the neighborhood was, as you can see, sidewalks kind of vanished on me, which means you do have to walk in the street. So I know, especially for some folks, they don't like walking in the street, especially come winter time. So that might be something to consider depending which part of the neighborhood you live in. Some of it has fantastic walkways, but it looks like other parts do not. And from here, walking north, I could see what kind of looked like an outlet up ahead, and I'm thinking that's the Northern Tier Trail system up there. So fingers crossed, I decide to push ahead this way, because if I'm right, it means we will be able to circle back to the park a lot quicker than the way we came. So yeah, I mean, we've gotten pretty good luck here, and you have to remember you're close to Lake Lansing Road, so plenty of shopping, grocery stores. The Eastwood Town Center is not far away. You're not too far from campus if you're a student or if you're working at the college. So it's a pretty nice little neighborhood tucked back. You have the privacy, as you can see here. You know, we're not right on top of a major road. We have that fantastic Northern Tier Trail system, an amazing park as kind of the hub between these two communities. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty desirable place, and that's why a lot of people have chosen to live here and stick around here for so long. And you'll see here in a moment, stumbled upon a free outdoor library box. I love these. You do find them all over Lansing and East Lansing. But this one was great because it was decorated extra well, and it had this really interesting kind of butterfly bench. A perfect place to stop and read a book with your kid. And I stopped and took this kind of panning shot because it turned out I was correct, and this was an entrance to the Northern Tier Trail. And as you can see, straight ahead, so we have another little bridge to cross and some beautiful views to take in, and before you know it, we'll be back at the crossroads that leads to the Harrison Meadows Park. And I got another shot of this fantastic field. You may have recognized it from my tamarisk video, but this is a slightly different angle, but still stunning and just beautiful. So that's going to do it today for our exploration of the Harrison Meadows neighborhood and the Northern Meadows neighborhood, as well as Harrison Meadows Park. Beautiful day. Thanks for coming with me, and stay tuned for the next neighborhood tour. Thanks. Take care.